Hey everyone, welcome back to RxJS Tech. Today we are diving into a crucial topic in Angular development, managing subscriptions with RxJS. One of the most common questions I get is, when do I need to unsubscribe from my observables? It is an important question because improper subscription management can lead to memory leaks and unexpected behavior in your applications. Let's break this down and learn exactly when and how to handle subscription cleanup. Before we jump into the code, let's understand why subscription management is crucial. When you subscribe to an observable and don't unsubscribe properly, you might create a memory leak. This happens when your component is destroyed, but the subscription keeps listening for the events, consuming memory and potentially causing unexpected behaviors. Let's create our first component that we will use throughout this tutorial. So in your editor, I'm going to run a command ng-generate C for component, and the name of the component would be subscription-demo. Press enter, and that should create a component in its own separate folder in the app directory. By the way, I'm using Angular 18, but it would be working for most of the Angular versions, for the older and also for the future versions of Angular. Alright, now let's go to our component, and in this component we will start adding our code. So go to the component.ts file, and here I will add the title property with text subscription demo, and then value of type any for now, and data. I added $sign here because I want to differentiate that this variable is holding an observable, and the type would be observable of type any. Okay, and this is going to be optional. Alright, next I will define a private property destroy. This would also hold the instance of a subject by using the syntax new subject. Make sure to import the subject from RxJS like this, and also observable should be imported from RxJS. And after that we will specify the type of the data, that would be void, and private subscription of type subscription. Make sure to import this subscription class from the RxJS, and it will hold an array of the subscriptions, and the default value would be the empty array. Alright, after that I will create a constructor so that I could inject the HTTP client like this. By the way, if you created your project for the first time in this version of Angular, then you might have to provide this HTTP client by going to the app.config file. But if you are using the older version, you may need to import the HTTP client module. But for now, here in this version, in the app.config object, in the providers array, pass the response of a function call that would be provide HTTP client like this. Okay, so in this way HTTP client would be available throughout our application. So now we have access to this HTTP service. After that I will implement on init. Make sure to import on init and on destroy. So we will be using both of these one by one just to demonstrate when we will need these and what will be the benefit. You will see that okay, we have imported the on init and on destroy. After that let's add these functions ng on init, and we need to add ng on destroy. Okay, so after that I need another function load data. So we will use our implement data loading here, and we will implement cleanup here, and here we will add our examples. Okay, all right, now let's look at scenarios where Angular and RxJS handle cleanup automatically. I will modify our component to demonstrate that. So let's go to the ng on init, and here I will address example 1. So here we will be using async pipe that would take care of automatic cleanup. Okay, so for that I will use this dot data, and we will give it the response of this dot http dot get of type string and API/data. So assume that you have an API. Oh, let me fix it. So currently there is no API at this endpoint, but imagine you have an API. Maybe you have it on HTTPS testapi.com or something like that. So you have an API and you hit that endpoint and it gave you an observable and you have saved that in the data property. Okay, so now let's go to the HTML as well. Let's use these things really quick. Here I will. So I have added these elements for title, value, data, and we use the async pipe, so it will expect the observable, and we have a button load data that will load the data by calling the load data function. Okay, and we are getting this error because in our component we did not import the common module. So let's do that like this, and you will see the error has gone. And now let me fix this spelling. Okay, so in this situation we're using the pipe async and it will automatically subscribe to it and it will take care of the cleanup automatically. Second example is that will take care of automatic cleanup is that, for example, here you have this http get, and here you have your API endpoint, and here I will subscribe to it, and within that subscription we have data, and we are just consoling, showing the log in the console test. Okay, so this is also the case where it will clean up automatically. Okay, so in such situations you don't need to implement the cleanup logic. So in this code we have two scenarios where we don't need to manually unsubscribe. The async pipe in our template automatically handles the subscription cleanup, and HTTP requests complete after receiving a response and automatically clean up. Now let's modify our component to show cases requiring manual cleanup. So I am going to delete everything from this engine init, and here I will address the case 1 interval observable. Let me actually write down the comments for every case that we are going to address here. Second case would be custom subject, and case 3 would be, actually let's keep it only 2. So in the case 1 I will define a constant interval sub, and we are calling the interval function. Make sure to import it from the RxJS like this and call it, and we'll pass it the amount of time. So after every 1 second it will execute our logic. So here I will use the pipe function. Within that we need to pass the take until, and here we will use destroy. So here we are using the destroy so that we could handle manual cleanup. Also after that we will use the subscribe value. This dot value is equal to value that we got from this parameter. And after that is done, we will use subscriptions dot push and interval sub. Okay, so we are now maintaining the list of the subscriptions that we have subscribed to, and also in the engine destroy we should do this. So first method is this. Let me actually add a comment, method 1. So this is the direct unsubscribe using the array. For that I will use this subscriptions dot for each, and here sub is equal to sub dot unsubscribe. Okay, so this is the first method. So if you choose this method, you don't need this approach, you can just get rid of that. Okay, but if you want to use the second method, method 2, here we will be using the subject. The subject is the destroy. This dot destroy dot next, and we will use this dot destroy dot complete. So this is also nice and clean approach. You don't have to maintain the array of subscription. So if you choose to use this method, then you don't need to use this line, and you can also remove this part because we are not going to use that in that case. Okay, and you can remove this as well. So you can use either method 1 or method 2. Okay, so here we demonstrated two approaches to handling unsubscriptions: using an array to store and manage multiple subscriptions, and second one using the take until pattern with the destroy subject. Next, let's update our component one final time to show the best practices. Okay, so I am going to delete everything here, and here I will define a property private read only destroy with $sign because it is going to contain the subject instance new subject, and the type would still be void. And then we have the value any, and then we have the data observable any. All right, and I will set the question mark here to get rid of this error. Okay, now in ng on init, and also we need ng on destroy like this. In the ng on destroy, we will use the method number 2, this dot destroy dot next. Okay, so after that I will add this dot destroy dot complete. Okay, and let me revert the load data function as it was before. This dot http dot get API. So I have injected the HTTP client once again so that I could use it here, and here I will pass my endpoint. Here I will use the pipe, and in that pipe this time I will use take one, and make sure to import this take function as well. Let me remove the unused imports. Okay, now after that I will use the subscribe function, and within that I will pass the data. This dot value is equal to data. Okay, and now we have two patterns here we are going to address. First one is combining streams with automatic cleanup. So for that I will use this dot data is equal to combine latest. So make sure to import this from the RxJS, call it and pass it an array, and here I will pass this dot http dot get and pass the path of API endpoint API slash data1, and here I will pass another get method call with a different endpoint, and here I will use this I will use dot pipe, and by the way the $sign is on the right side. Okay, so in the pipe function I will pass map operator. Make sure to import the map from the RxJS, and here I will be passing a callback function to the map, and within that callback function I will be getting two variables, data1 data2. so this the number of these elements depends on the number of items you have passed in this array to the combine latest function. So if you passed 5 items here in this way, then you will be getting 5 data sets. Okay, and in the return I will return an object with data1 and data2. Okay, now here I will pass another operator take until, and here will pass this dot destroy. Okay, so it will consider these observables and keep things in the loop until it is destroyed. So we will destroy it with the help of the ng on destroy. Okay, and the second pattern, so this is the first pattern. Let me add a comment here, pattern 1, and the second pattern is this dot load data. So this is basically a short-lived subscription because we have added the take one here, and this is a different pattern. Okay, so basically this is a one-time subscription using the take one. So in this final version we demonstrate using a single destroy subject for cleanup, and then we combine streams with proper cleanup, and then we use the take one for one-time subscription, and then we also covered how to clean component destruction. Now let's summarize the key points we have learned using our single component. We learned that we should always unsubscribe from interval observables, subject subscriptions, and long-lived observables. We don't need to unsubscribe from async pipe subscription, HTTP request, and observables with take one function. The best practices we demonstrated here is using take until destroy for multiple subscriptions. Then we implement a proper ng on destroy, and we use the async pipe when possible. We use the take one for one-time subscription. Remember, proper subscription management is crucial for building performant Angular applications. Using a single component throughout this tutorial, we have seen how to handle different subscriptions scenarios and implement proper cleanup patterns. That's all for today. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to Ayaz Tech for more Angular and web development content. Drop your questions in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video.